Hi friends, MD Vegan. On my Gentle Juicefasting day, once a week, just one day, one night, well the night before, the night after actually, and it's so much fun. I drink a lot on these days. I found that when I drink 4 liters, whatever it is, begin with water, I drink large cups of water, glasses of water in the morning, of course, and then I have a nice tea maybe. Yeah. I drink a juice, a liter juice or two. Veggie broth can be plant milk, maybe later in the day to get a little bit more down, calm down. Yeah, generally fasting is a calorie restriction. You eat less energy, less calories. Then metabolic switch comes, the body begins to burn its own fat and these kind of things. So that is very interesting, but I don't want to talk too much about it today. It's a very healthy habit, and it's usual. People did it always. It was usual to eat every other day rather than 3 meals a day. That is a relatively modern invention of us humans, because the food wasn't always available, and also they ate one big meal a day, and then nothing, and then later of the day again. So the modern day 3 meals a day rule is really not modern, very short time of our history. But feeling hungry or so is a problem with fasting. But when I have these wonderful juices and drink a lot, I don't really feel hungry. Earlier, I fasted more with 0 calories, only water. That was a little bit problematic, but after 3 days, the hunger went away, and these kind of things. But it's nicer for me now to do it only once a week for 1 day to keep it up going. That's so nice, because it's a permanent part of the diet now. It's 1 day a week I don't eat, and it feels so great. I feel light. I don't have to spend much time in the kitchen. Always think about a juice I could make, a new recipe, or a new plant milk or something. That's very creative, and also I don't need energy for digestion. Usually a large part of the energy goes into the digestion, and I don't need to do that on a fasting day, especially when I fast with juices. I take the fiber out of the fruit and the veggies. And the fiber is that thing that needs to be digested. Now, the gut bacteria, they work on the fiber and eliminate what we don't need, and then the body takes in what it needs. And the fiber is rather that what we not need. So, speaking with a grain of salt, but so without the fiber, the juicing, it goes away. There is no digestion basically, and the nutrients go right into the bloodstream. And that is very light, a light feeling. And the energy is very clear, yet the essence of the ingredients. Of course, fiber is important for a healthy diet. Without a fiber, it's not good. But on a fasting day, I make an exception, and I feel great. You can also fast with just reducing calories. Some people say it's not good to have juices without fiber. Always try to get the full nutrition, and so, yeah, okay, I see that, but to me, this kind of fasting is great, and only 1 day a week, that is very good feeling to me. So I recommend, and I'm making these juices. They are wonderful, very delicious, and I can study these ingredients. Today I want to learn something more about rhubarb. Rhubarb is a stem. There are stalks. You can categorize the plants that we eat from where they grow. Under the earth, above the earth, roots, shoots, fruit. So fruit are only fruit, and all the other part of the plant can be vegetables. So there's a lot difference in the vegetables to have a variety of plants, because they have also different nutrients, and the nutrients are not evenly spread over all parts of the plant. So when you want to have a great variety, you eat better different kinds of vegetables, because fruit are always in the same part of the plant, yeah? And where the seeds are, that's a fruit. And the rest can be very different also in nutrients, because roots have other nutrients than shoots, and so forth and so forth. So variety means also mainly variety of vegetables. I read recently in a study presented by Dr. Greger, for example. I don't read studies myself. I let them be read to me by scientists. They have an oversight over everything. I myself, I'm not a scientist of nutritional science, so reading studies for myself is very confusing, because there are always other studies I don't know, and you need somebody that knows all the studies. And Dr. Greger is that kind of person. So I'm not always agreeing with him. I have other conclusions. Okay, you can have your own conclusions, but at least the science that he presents is objectively presented, and you know all the science there is. Yeah. And there are, of course, limits. Science is always limited. Western science is limited to abstract science, that it always looks at one certain aspect of the whole world, one aspect, and that's the idea of science, abstraction. So not holistic. Holistic is the ancient medicine, for example, Ayurveda or Chinese medicine. These are holistic concepts where the whole human being is watched, observed, and in nature and the universe. Yeah? And that the balance, they look for the balance. That is holistic medicine. Holistic science is different from modern experimental science we have in the West and all over the world now. So there's a difference, and there's limited knowledge, but it's also very precise. So got to balance that out a little bit. So now enough about science and fasting, and so I'm going to come to my juice. Rhubarb is a stalk, yeah, and it has very many health benefits. It's usually very sour. It's maybe the most sour vegetable you can get at all. And it's high in fiber too. And I cut it here in thin slices. Yeah? The long stems are very hard fiber. And I cut them here in these little slices, very thin. Then the juicer has a good time, because I once tried to juice a rhubarb stem whole into the juicer, and in a short time it was stuck, because they are so hard and firm, these fiber, that they rolled around the the juicer inside, and it was stuck. It couldn't juice anymore. So but when I cut it in these small slices, there's no problem. The fiber is short, doesn't happen anything. So that's a good recommendation. You want to juice rhubarb, cut it in slices. And then rhubarb is known for especially vitamin K1. It's a very important vitamin. And it can cover 100 grams of rhubarb, can cover a quarter of the daily need. So that is pretty high. And it has also known for high nitrates. That nitrates is what people need to eat, a diet high in nitrate, when their blood pressure is high. And that is one of the most important things. It leads to a heart attack and these kind of things. That's many people die of that. For that, nitrate rhubarb is recommended. It's the highest, almost the second highest of all compared plants is rhubarb. There's one higher. In general, leafy greens are the highest in nitrates, not beet. Beet is pretty low, but it's still high. But among the best ones, the highest ones, yeah, rhubarb is the second, and that is interesting. So I didn't know all these things. I read it myself, but now I know it, and I always loved rhubarb. It's sour, and it's usually cooked, but I juice it with my relatively new apple, pear, orange juice. So 3 very common fruit. 2 apples and 2 oranges, 2 apples and 2 pears each, yeah? And 2 oranges too, the same amount. So it's a fruit juice, apples, oranges, and pears, and a piece of ginger, yeah, right, 3 inches or so, not too much. You can give a little bit of zing. The fire of the ginger makes me absorb the other nutrients better, and good for digestion. Ginger is very healthy, one of the healthiest spices we have. So this juice is interesting because it is such a wonderful combination, all these three, that we all know, but it is, I never saw it otherwise offered in any shops or ready-made juices. Apple, orange, pear juice, I never saw that. So I never tried it, thought about it until some time ago when I ran across it somewhere. And it was amazing. These juices together are so nicely balanced, a little bit creamy even from the pear, and the sweet sour balance so nice in that. So it's a very nice juice, and I can make many juices that I previously made with vegetables and fruit. I do them now with this combination of these three fruit. It's amazing. Try that today with rhubarb. Let's see what happens. And I juice now, and I come back in a moment and show you the juice. Here is a liter juice, rhubarb juice with apple, orange, pear, and a little bit of ginger. And looks nice to me. It is creamy, also not too thick. Has a nice color. It's a light orange, a beige, yeah, a little bit light orange. It's a broken color, not radiant yellow or orange or red. It's just a broken color with white in it. And now I will taste it. I will see. I'm already thirsty. I drank a lot already, but the body tells me when I drink a lot, it's surprisingly, the body begins to tell me pretty soon, drink more. And don't drink. The body stops telling me to drink, and I don't want to drink. And then a headache begins or something, and I don't know where that comes from. I watched it for some time now, and now they drink in the morning, 1, 2, 3 glasses. The body wants even more, after some time, of course. And when I don't do that, the body doesn't even ask. So that is interesting too, but now I feel thirsty. Although I drank a lot already, but I drink already maybe 2 liters already today, almost, yeah. And it's good to feel thirsty. That means the body works a lot and eliminates a lot, and so that's a good thing. So let's try now a little bit of this juice. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, it's interesting. These juices tell me so much about the plants that are juiced. Here's the fiber. That's what not in the juice, and that's usually one of the healthiest parts of the food, because people always eat too little fiber. Most of the people, that is a big cause of disease, not eating enough fiber. But that's not in the juice now, and it tastes like it has this feeling for the plant. I juice is really characteristic. I really have a feeling for this plant, what it does, as compared to others, of course. Yeah, in playing with other ingredients. Don't have too many ingredients in a dish, in a recipe usually to begin. Later, when I use it often more and more, I can also add more and more ingredients. But in the beginning, try to find out. And the rhubarb is a very characteristic plant. It is very unique, very peculiar. Sour, of course, but also I can't describe. It's really nice, and that's also what a juice is to me. To feel the plant, this essence of that plant. And that's in juicing especially. It's raw, of course. That is very natural, close to nature. And that's what it looks like. It's definitely a nice juice. It's delicious. It's nicely balanced with the sour and the sweet from the pear and the apple and the orange. Also bitters a little bit in there. And the rhubarb is a little bit sour and flat. It's like a flat flavor. I remember when I was a kid, we had a rhubarb in the garden. They were growing hard, long stems, thick, long, stick stems, and large leaves. And the leaves are not so good to eat. They have a lot of oxalates. Most of the oxalate is in the leaves. Rhubarb is known for one of the plants with the most oxalates. And oxalates can be dangerous for people with kidney problems, because the oxalates can build crystals they sit in the kidneys then and block them, kidney stones or so. And that's not good, of course. So if you are prone to that, you don't want to eat too much of that. Same with spinach, has even more. You cook spinach, when you cook rhubarb, it goes away, 30 to 80% even. So when you love spinach, when you always cook it, there's no problem at all. In general, when you are a vegan on a whole food plant-based diet, these oxalates are not a big problem. But of course, with some health problems, issues of the kidneys and so, you want to reduce and not too much of that. It's a characteristic plant, and I'm glad I tried it. Once in a year, the rhubarb comes. I remember that it was, and you shouldn't use it after June, late in June, because the oxalates goes higher and higher, and at some point it turns. It's not recommended to eat it anymore. But early spring, like now, rhubarb is everywhere. And it's always good to have a recipe for that, how to use it. Usually when you look for rhubarb and online, you find usually cooked recipes. And they even said before sugar was cheap, it wasn't really used that much, more like a medicine. The roots of the medicine, of the rhubarb, is used in China as a medicine, anti-inflammatory, and so I don't know what they exactly did with it, but when you have sugar here in the West, then they begin to cook it and make it in cakes and puddings and so forth. I always ate it as a kid in the garden. I took one of the stems and took the leaves away, and then I began to chew on it. Or we took it home and peeled it and put the sugar on top. Of course, no, I don't need sugar anymore. It's not so good, yeah, of course. But it's nice to have these juice recipes. I also make rhubarb juices and add it in a smoothie, together with bananas, for example, and strawberries. I have one out, you can look at. That's very nice. Rhubarb has many benefits, and you can use it in different ways. And yes, that's another way I want to show you today. Make a juice with apples, oranges and pears, and ginger. I will enjoy that now, drinking it slowly, because, as I said, drink it fast, it goes fast with the blood, and then sugar spikes can come, and that confuses the body. It's not so good. Insulin can become a problem because that is released when you have too much sugar to digest it and to turn into energy in the muscles. And when the insulin is released too much, too fast, then that can be a major problem for the system. So drinking the juices slowly is important. Like in a meal, the juices on a fasting day, to me, are like a meal. I enjoy them, read a book by the way, or so, working on the desk, on the computer. There are many things I can do on a fasting day, and I do it with great alertness, great vividly, because it's so high energy on a fasting day. It's so nice, and I recommend it. You want to try. You can also go to Facebook, Tree Yoga Moon Fasting. There is a Facebook page called like that, Tree Yoga Moon Fasting, on Facebook, where I post all the juice recipes. Of course, you can also go to my YouTube channel where you now watch the video. That is something I do every day. You can find a new recipe every day because I love the endless vegan variety. I want to share that, all the plants, all the ingredients we can eat, how to do that, so that we can have the greatest variety, and I always try to stay up to date with a new recipe. Okay, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy. If you like it, like my video, and subscribe, and have another recipe every single day. Hope to see you soon.